One of the amazing things about Eretz Yisrael is the way that the rhythm of nature is always in tune with the cycle of the holidays. During this time of year, the month of Elul, Chodesh Rahamim v'Selichot, and the Yamim Noraim. The case in point is this plant over here, which is called the Ḥaṣab. It's got these white flowers. It's a stick with white flowers growing on it. The white flowers right away remind us of the purity of this time of year, and the pasuk in Yeshayahu, Im yu hata'echem kashani, kasherech yalbinu. If your sins will be bright crimson red, they'll turn white like snow. Obviously, we're not going to see any snow this time of year. Instead, we see the country is blanketed with these white Ḥasabim. I'm out here in the dead of night. It's 12:20, and look at the Hatzavim. You see all the flowers are completely closed. They close up at night. All right, I'm back out here, and what I see is absolutely wild. An hour and 20 minutes passed, right? It was Hasot Laila, exactly in the middle of the night. I went to say Slichot with Jews all over the country, and I come back, lo and behold, the Hasabim, the flowers, are all opened up. This plant knows what's up. I said that the nature of Eretz Yisrael is in tune with the Jewish calendar, so here you have it. The Ḥaṣab, at the time of the Slichot, it opens up the flowers, it wakes up. It's just amazing, mind-boggling. Ḥaṣab comes from the verb laḥzob, which means to mine, like mining metals out of rock. So too these dig their way into the rock. In fact, the name Ḥaṣab also hints to Hetzi Ab, half of the month of Ab, meaning in the middle of that month, the holiday of Tu B'Av, it starts to grow. You can start noticing it in nature. It pokes its way up through the ground and starts growing to these tall stalks. The month of Tu B'Av also is, of course, associated with the color white. Benot Yisrael, Benot Yerushalayim used to go out wearing white clothing and dance in the vineyards. And the way it grows is astounding because it also is kind of a blueprint for spiritual growth, which is what we're doing this time of year. Because as you'll see here, for example, there's like a bulge in the plant where the flowers are. And then below it, it's just skinny. There's almost nothing. And then it tapers off in the top. These are kind of little buds that haven't started flowering yet. And the flowers that blossom today will dry up and wither, and then the buds above it the next day start to flower, and so on and so forth. The flower, the band of flowers, keeps climbing up, sort of like a person that wants to reach a certain goal, and everyone has their own goals, but the way to reach it is to go day after day, slowly climbing up. You can't just jump to the top. You can see some of these Hatzavim are closer to the top here. For example, this one, the flowers are already at the top. Others are still, towards the bottom, somewhere in the middle. But the thing is, once you moved up, if you look below the layer of the flowers, you can't really see anything. You can't see where the old flowers used to be. If you feel it, you can kind of feel like a tiny little bump. But on the outside, you see nothing. And that represents a person who is truly changed. There is no remnant left of the Hataim, of the person they used to be. That person is no more. They're a new person. Historically, the Ḥaṣab is a very important plant in our history. It says in the Gemara that Yehoshua ben Nun instituted that the Ḥaṣab should be planted at the edge of fields to mark the borders between the plot of one family and the plot of another family, the borders between the different tribes, so on and so forth. And the reason for that is that the roots of the Ḥaṣab go down very deep into the ground, so that if someone tried to move the Ḥaṣab or play around with the border, one of the parties on the two sides, so the deep down roots would still be there, and you'd still see exactly where the border was because it didn't go off to the sides. Another thing about the Ḥaṣab is if that person tried to, move the border, it's very deep, so someone would notice. It's not something you could easily do and trick someone. And also, the roots and the bulb, if you touch them, they have materials on them that make your hands burn. So it's like a quick retribution to that person.